Welcome to yet another computer build. Again, just like previous, this is a little bit unnecessary. However, I have not been too pleased with the performance of the i5-11400 build in the home theater PC. There's nothing necessarily wrong with it, because I don't do a whole lot of multitasking with it, but if I try to do multitasking, it tends to bog down a little bit. Plus, if you go play a 4K video, it also tends to bog down a little bit. So, it's not really necessary to upgrade because I don't have a whole lot of 4K content, but I figure I might as well, just because there is definitely some other hardware that I need to upgrade, things that are getting a little outmoded, even more so than that. And I decided, because it actually turned out to be quite cheap, we're going to go with a brand new system, brand new platform that I've never used before, and that is the Alder Lake platform. What we have here is an Intel Core i5-12600K. Yes, I got the K SKU because there is no non-K SKU of the 12600. So this is what we have. So this has got the new LGA 1700 socket and the new 600 series chipset. Somebody's probably going to yell at me for not getting the Z690, but it was about $150 more expensive to get the Z690, and quite frankly, it did not have enough features to justify the $150 extra price tag. I'm not planning on doing any overclocking anytime soon, and if I do any overclocking, I'll probably end up getting a new board anyway, and then putting a smaller chip on this. So, for right now, this is good enough. I'm sure it can do some overclocking. Probably not a whole lot, but I'm sure it can do some. Looks like you actually get 3 X16 sized, although I'm pretty sure that they're not all X16. I think two of them are X8, or one of them is X8. I don't know. I'm not really going to use them. We'll go ahead and we'll pull the board out later. It's an Asus board. You don't get very many options for the new platform, particularly with the micro ATX form factor. A lot of the stuff these days is ATX. So, this is what you get. This is what it is, B660 chipset. It's got the RGB crap, Windows 11 ready. I'm probably not going to run Windows 11. In fact, I'm going to just swap the SSD and RAM off the existing system, use them on this, assuming that the heatsink will actually clear that tall RAM. Now, it says it will on the side if we go ahead and take a look. 100% RAM compatibility, but you never know. I do need this cooler because obviously this does not come with a cooler. You know, Intel is still not smart enough to be able to get their TDPs down to reasonable levels, but they are at least smart enough to not include stupid, useless coolers like this with their 125 watt TDP chips. So, that much is good, I guess. So you got that. If you go looking for aftermarket coolers for the LGA 1700 socket, you won't find very many options there either. I think pretty much all of them, in fact, as of the making of this video, are Noctua, except for one, Thermal Take Tower Cooler, which is not going to fit in my case anyway. So, we're stuck with this. It will support the 125 watt TDP. I verified that with their CPU chart. There's not a whole lot of room for overclocking, but you know what? If I want to do overclocking, I'm going to put it into a bigger case with better ventilation anyway. So, we got all that. This SSD was kind of pointless. I didn't buy any RAM because I'm going to be using existing RAM. I was thinking about maybe just putting this new SSD in and upgrading straight to Windows 11, but I don't know if I really want to make that jump just yet. So this will probably go into the old hardware, and then I'll put Windows 10 on that or do something, I don't know, and put it into a new system for use. But I gotta get this unpackaged and actually working first before I can do much, right? Alright, here is the board. And it looks like, even though they're X16 size, this is an X8, or an X4, this is an X1, and of course there's your full-size X16 right there. NVMe goes under that. I'll probably want to install that before I install the cooler, Probably same deal with the RAM. I want to install that before I install the cooler. There's the LGA 1700 socket, which is larger than the LGA 1200, so you can't use an LGA 1200 cooler because it is different. The mounting holes are not the same. So, there's one thing. There's actually a battery over there, which I think is odd. I guess they've changed it. Kind of unfortunate they don't still have the, really, the nice replaceable battery. Like that, I think is going to be a pain in the butt. Yeah, it will, because it's a sealed setup. I think that's kind of stupid, honestly. I didn't notice that until after I pulled this out, that it does not actually have a proper battery holder. So I don't know about that, but the rest of the board looks okay. It's actually a full-size micro ATX board, so it will stretch out to the last set of standoffs in the case. So that's good, I suppose. But I guess I'm going to have to get the old hardware out and change over the SSD and the RAM, and then install the CPU as well. You get your usual assortment of stuff. There's a user manual, and yes, they do still give you a driver disk. Again, I'm not really sure why, because nobody's got optical drives anymore except for me. I/O plates. This looks like a pad to put underneath the SSD. And you get 2 of them because there are 2 NVMe slots for the M.2 to install the plates. I don't think you actually need them for the M2 right there. I'm not sure if this M.2 right here is actually... I think it is. It's awfully tempting to maybe even put the second SSD in there for Optane memory just to experiment with it. I may do that. Okay, NVMe is installed under there. I had a look. I think Optane memory is not what I think it is, so I just didn't bother installing the second SSD. I'm not going to need it anyway. There's the CPU, which you can see is elongated. It's not a square anymore like it used to be. And there's the RAM, uber fancy RAM, that I hope this heatsink, again, is going to clear. I think it will, because I think this heatsink is mostly a square, so I think we're okay in that regard. Here it is. These are the screws that go underneath. It's a similar... Oops, I'm going to drop it. It's a similar mounting system to that HTPC 200 cooler that I had for a while. I still have it. That I used on one of my builds years ago. So, this is a very unnecessarily fancy package. Reminds me of Apple, in a way. Hopefully we can get this installed properly. Okay, there it is with the cooler. I'm always nervous about mounting coolers like that, because they screw in from the bottom. There's a good chance that you can warp your board pretty badly doing that. However, I can't test it on the bench because I don't have a monitor that's got HDMI or a DisplayPort. So I'm going to just have to install it in the case and hope that I didn't damage anything. So I guess we'll find out. Alright, here is the existing setup. Obviously I've removed the SSD and the RAM from it. This is that ASRock H510 board with the i5-11400, as mentioned previously. I'm going to leave the SATA cable in there. I'm not going to replace it because I don't think I really need to. They're all really the same anyway. But we'll pull it out and put the new one in. Okay, I've pulled out the old board. I've moved the standoff back to where it needs to go. At least I hope that's where it needs to go. I'm going to have to get 2 more screws because this board will reach to the end of that. But I think before we do most of that, I'm going to go ahead and actually install the board. Okay, everything is now installed. I have no signal up there. Let's see how many things I've got backwards. On it comes. Please work. Aha! Asus, in search of incredible. New CPU installed. Press F1 to continue and take advantage of optimized performance, disable performance enhancement, blah blah blah. Press F1. Don't mind if I do. Oh, I had to press function F1 on this keyboard. which does actually work. Looks like they have not really changed their BIOS setup utility. Temperatures look really good for a small form factor cooler. Optical drive is seen, as well as the NVMe. All of the fans are good. I do need to do the XMP. But it looks like we are off to the races. So I'm going to set up the BIOS the way that it needs to be set up, and then we'll go from there. Alright, one other thing I thought I'd point out about this new platform before we continue is the efficient versus performance core information. This is one of the new things for the Alder Lake platform, is there are, I think for this particular chip, there are 6 what they call performance cores, and then 4 efficient cores, which use less power. But I'm not 100% sure on that. Somebody will probably correct me. But I believe that, as far as I can tell, everything should be good there. With respect to cores, I'm not going to worry about it. We'll see what Windows says once that boots up. Okay, we've made all these changes. I'm going to hit enter, save them. Turned off, of course, because it's doing a speed change. Back on. And we'll just watch it and let it boot into Windows. Probably going to have to reactivate and do all that nonsense. Okay. Don't think I will need to use the driver disk. I think everything's just going to work out of the box, which is good. Windows 10 is usually really good about that. It's like the only good thing that it has. That and the Advanced Task Manager. Front panel LEDs are good. I did plug in the reset switch, although I don't think it's going to be required because, I mean, we're not running Windows Millennium Edition anymore, so. Reboot. And then we'll get what we want. There's Windows. I'll have to see if I need to adjust the, what's it called? I'll have to see if I need to adjust the overscan. Okay, I had a quick look, and I am right. It only has 16 threads, because the efficient cores are not hyper-threaded, which is what I figured. So it should be more than good enough for anything I'm going to do with it. Okay. I couldn't actually find it in my stash of videos, so we'll go for just some, hopefully, demo video that won't get this taken down and flagged. 4K 60 FPS. And we'll see how it does. Video playback is fairly smooth, so that's good. I take it at full screen so I can check out how the rendering did, the usage. Yeah, barely breaking a sweat. That's the way it should be. The 11400 couldn't play that, so I think that's a good upgrade. I did, if you didn't notice, I did put the Noctua badge on the front, even though the next time I go to upgrade this hardware, it's not going to matter. And besides, it's still got the Ryzen stickers on it. I may take those off. That hardware is actually in this case right now. I may take that sticker off and put it on here. I don't know if I can actually take those stickers off without ruining them forever. Let me just do it. I might just do it anyway. Put the Intel sticker on that, because I'm sure that my HT PC is probably going to be Intel forever. You know, I've got the one platform, and it does help to have an Intel platform around to experiment with. But I think that's pretty much it. I don't have anything else to say. So, oh yeah, I did get Windows activated, so there's no problem there. It was a painful process like it usually is, but whatever. Actually, there's an 8K video right here. I wonder how it would do with that. Keep in mind, though, that this is a 1080p display, so it's not going to do totally. So we're in 4K mode. Let's see if we can get it up to 8K. Are there any other modes of operation? Let's see. 4320p 60. Let's see if that breaks the entire thing. Huh. I think we lost the video. Start it from the beginning. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think 8K is necessarily possible. What's it trying to run? Let's see. What's the, Well, that's not that bad, all things considered. I guess the network just can't keep up with it. Well, that's okay. It's not much of a surprise. Let me see if I can get a better video. Is this one playing in 8K? Yeah, this one's playing in 8K. So yeah, it's playing. Doing just fine. Don't think there's really any issues. Just didn't like that one video. Okay, that's it. Thanks for watching. Got comments? Leave them below.